Honorable Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shri Ji, all my esteemed colleagues from the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, all our respected members of the task force. On behalf of Ministry of I&B, I extend my heartiest welcome to all of you on this first meeting of the task force for conduct of Phase 3 and Phase 4 of digitization. As far as Phase 1 and Phase 2 of digitization is concerned, you are aware that we have been able to successfully install about 3 crore set-top boxes. There have been a lot of lessons which we have learned over a period of time. There have been problems, between the broadcasters, MSOs, LCOs, interconnect agreements, revenue sharing models. All those issues have already been being addressed by various authorities, and we are constantly monitoring, in fact, through our discussions and consultative process, so that we are able to address all those issues while implementation of Phase 3 and Phase 4. As far as the Indian democracy is concerned, you are already aware that it's one of the largest democracies. The thrust of the democracy is basically that the choice should be given to the viewers and the listeners. So basically what we are trying to aim at is that viewers should get the maximum advantage of digitization. And with this revolution on digitization which is taking place all over the world, and with Honorable Prime Minister's program of Digital India, Make in India, Made in India, all-out efforts are being made by all the ministries, including Ministry of I&B, to ensure that it is a great success. The full impact of digitization can only be realized after we have the implementation of Phase 3 and Phase 4. Then we will be able to judge what exactly has been the advantage which has accrued to the population at large and also to all the stakeholders in the process. There have been certain constraints which were expressed by some of the operators, the stakeholders. As far as indigenization of set-top boxes is concerned, Honorable Minister has been constantly at it ever since he assumed office. And we have been discussing both with Department of Electronics, with the Department of Telecom, with Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue, and I'm happy to inform that the problems of C-form, which was one of the major bottlenecks for implementation of indigenization of set-top boxes, has already been resolved to a large extent. But I think the way the technology is going through a phase of evolution, there is going to be change in the set-top box technologies also. So while we are implementing Phase 3 and Phase 4 of digitization, I wouldn't be surprised that some of you might innovate and create new technology by which the set-top box requirement gets synergized with the TV set itself. So these kind of evolutionary techniques are already underway. During the implementation of Phase 1, the task force had met almost about 20 times to deliberate on variety of issues, the difficulties which were being faced by all the stakeholders, and through the consultative process, we were able to resolve a number of such issues. Our experience has been that the task force has served as an effective platform to discuss and address various issues of stakeholders arising out of digitization process. The inputs of task force have been extremely useful for the ministry to take mid-course corrections for digitization exercise. In fact, before we convened the first meeting of the task force yesterday and day before, we were flooded with a lot of complaints which were coming from some of you that people are, the nominations have not been fairly done. But let me assure you that this is only a tentative list of nominations which are sitting before us. We welcome suggestions from stakeholders. If suppose some LCOs and the cable operators and other operators have been left out and they have some valid suggestions which they have to give, kindly give us in writing. You can send us an email, you can contact any one of our officers, so that the suggestions which are constructive in nature will always be welcome. We sincerely hope that this task force would steer the process of digitization for Phase 3 and Phase 4. We will certainly have to meet much more often to deliberate on variety of difficulties that we will encounter in the days to come. But nevertheless, the idea is to make this a great success. We look forward to the guidance and support of Honorable Minister, who in any case has a lot of innovative ideas as far as implementation of Phase 3 and Phase 4 is concerned. And through this collective effort, I'm sure we'll make it a big success. Thank you very much.